Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So recently I've been getting loads of emails about looking at some cybersecurity companies, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So I looked at one of the cybersecurity's ETFs, and I took the Sharia compliant companies in there, and I put together 5 companies that I want to share with you guys today. And the ETF itself is called a hack. Okay, and this is the one of the basically kind of thesis about why invest in hack, for example, or why invest in cybersecurity in general. And it says significant growth opportunity in 2023. The global cybersecurity market reached $236.75 billion and is projected to grow $506.79 billion by 2032, which is absolutely huge. Now, it's also the defense spending on cybersecurity is growing significantly. So the overall, the U.S. Department of Defense proposed budget grew basically about 3.2% for 2024-2023, while cyber spending as part of the basically that request grew more than 15%, which is absolutely crazy. And the fact that the world is kind of interconnected right now, so the increasing interconnectivity of basically the world is now basically helping the cybersecurity companies to protect that data that's been sent from A to B and so on. So cybersecurity, I think, is one of those, we talk about AI a lot, but cybersecurity is now has become one of the most important sectors in the business world because of this kind of interconnected world that we live in right now, and then the fact that we are basically exchanging data every single second, so we need to protect those data, as well as, of course, the world, you know, right now is not a safe place, and there's so many situations happening, and for that reason, basically, we need cybersecurity. We need to basically protect that our data and so on. And the fact that everything is digitized right now, from your fridge to your watch and everything else is being digitized. So all of that data has to be protected. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you 5 companies that are inside this ETF that are Sharia compliant, and give you an overview. And of course, some of these companies are very, very risky companies because they are just starting to make profit or are not profitable yet. So you have to be careful. You would be surprised when you see some of these companies, because generally you don't consider them as a cybersecurity companies. But the first one that they have on this ETF, and I'll share the I think there's about 24 different companies in that ETF. I will share that with you guys at the end. But as you can see, the first one here is a Broadcom, 813 billion market cap. It has wide economic mode, currently 1,746 pounds price wise. In the last 5 years, they grew that revenue about 12%, the EPS about 14%, profit margin of 24%. And as you can see here, growth estimate, the return on equity 22%, and the return on invested capital about 10%. As you know, this is one of the companies that I own in my portfolio. So not only do they do the semiconductor side of it, they also have a cybersecurity side of things to protect their own data and so on. This is a basically, this company has acquired a million different companies over the last few years, and one of the companies is basically that company that deals with the cybersecurity side of things. So return on invested capital about 10%, 18 billion market cap, free cash flow right now, free cash flow margin of 45%, which is absolutely huge. Total return the last 10 years, we're looking at 38%. Growth estimate next year 27%, 18% after that, which is absolutely huge. And guess what? It is fairly valued right now, 1,750, 1,001. I can't even talk today. $1,550 right now, which is absolutely, that's basically what they expect. But that's about 200, over 200, basically, from where it is right now. So again, great company. I really like the business model. And going more forward, just to quickly have a look at the expectations, we're looking at about 14%, almost at 26%, 16%, 24%, 27% in the next 5 years when it comes to EPS. Year over year, we're looking at growth again, 43%, 16%, 11%, 15%. I can't read numbers today for whatever reason. But yeah, so that's the first one. And the next one they have on the list of that ETF is CrowdStrike. This company is a very interesting company. It's been around not for a long time, but it's been on my radar for quite some time. I bought it, sold it, bought it, sold it, made a little bit of profit, but I wish I hold on to it because right now it's $300, almost to $400 per share right now. They do have a narrow economic moat, and they're joining that 100 billion market cap, which is quite interesting. And the last 5 years, they grew that revenue about 70% and 75% when it comes to EPS. Profit margin just starting to 4%, return on equity about 6%, which is good to see that they actually become a profitable business. Return on invested capital just 1%, and free cash flow over $1 billion, and free cash flow margin about 32%, which is really, really good. Total return the last 5 years, not 10 years, 5 years, is 42%, and growth estimate next year 23% after that. 30% premium right now. $300 per share is where they think the price should be. So another really interesting company, but it seems very expensive right now. According to Wall Street, it's slightly cheaper, so I'll show you in a second. But when we look at the revenue side of things and the EPS, as you can see, double digits every single year. So 30%, 23%, 31%, 37% every single year. Okay, huge double digits. Same thing when it comes to revenue. So this company is really, really in the right position and is growing so fast right now. But check this out. Wall Street is actually saying, according to them, 33 of them are saying it's a strong buy, 12 of them are saying it's a buy and 5 hold, and it's a strong buy from them. And their price target is about 3% upside from where we are right now. It's just over $400 per share, which is quite interesting. So even Seeking Alpha, which normally isn't bullish on these type of companies, is actually saying is a buy. So yeah, interesting company. The next one that we're looking at today is Net, which is basically Cloudflare. Again, I actually bought this company when it was trading, I think it was about 30-40 pounds, made it a little bit of profit and then sold it. And we're talking about the early 2020, by the way. 28 billion market cap, narrow economic moat right now. Basically last 5 years they grew that revenue about 45%, EPS about 44%, profit margin, return on equity and return on invested capital all negative, so it's still growing okay. Free cash flow is just a little bit, free cash flow margin about 10%, which is nice. Total return the last 3 years, I think this is, and it's about, well, it's a negative 8% basically. Growth estimate next year though is 29%, 27% after that. Every single year they're going to grow that revenue about 27%, which is good. Fairly value right now $87 per share. Right now it's about $84 per share. And just looking at this, we're going to look at the earnings expectations moving forward. So 25%, 26%, 23%, 79%, but that's only one person. So we're just going to focus on first three. Okay, again, same thing. Okay, 27 to 28% every single year, expected to grow about every single year for the next 5 years. Look at this, a strong buy from Quant, which is very, very interesting, and a buy from Seeking Alpha analyst here. Strong buy 9, buys 3, 16 hold, 2 sell and 1 strong sell, and they're about 4 or 5% upside from where we are. But that's interesting. Let me see how long has they've been saying it's strong buy. So it's been a strong buy from this company. Okay, so July, okay, so since beginning of June basically, so mid-June, that's when they basically rated strong buy. Since then, about basically it's been a buy every single, well, since then anyway. So there you go, that's the next one. The fourth one that we're talking about is one that we've definitely talked about before. That's Fortinet. It currently has a 45.9 billion market cap, wide economic moat, $60 per share right now. The last 5 years in terms of revenues are about 25%, 24% when it comes to EPS, 22% when it comes to profit margin, to 136 when it comes to return on invested capital, $1.6 billion of free cash flow, which is really, really good. This is becoming a mature company. It has become a mature company. Free cash flow margin of 32%, which is really good. 28% total return the last 10 years. Growth estimate next year 11% every single year after that. 22% discounted right now. $77 per share is where they think the price should be. Right now is $60 per share. Now looking at the moving forward, so this year they're expecting about 8% in terms of year-over-year growth in terms of EPS estimates, and then 11%, 18%, 21%, and so on. And then when it comes to revenue side of things, we're looking at about 9%, 13%, 14%, 26%, and so on. So now in terms of ratings, again, this company is right now is a buy, so 9 strong buys, 6 buys, 27 holds, okay, and then 1 strong sell, and it's about 19% up for upside from where we are. $71 per share is where they think the price should be. These guys think it's $77 per share. So yeah, so not bad at all. Again, another great company. It's been around for a few years now. I'm really interested in this one. I'm gonna keep looking at this and see. I like CrowdStrike, but this is also a good one, so I might actually start looking in a little bit more detail of this company. Zscaler is the next one, 30 billion market cap, narrow economic moat, $201 per share right now. They grew that revenue 52% in the last 5 years, 52% when it comes to the also EPS. Right now, negative when it comes to profit margins, return on equity, and return on invested capital. The free cash flow is actually not bad, 27% also free cash flow margin. Last 5 years, they grew that total return about 19%, which is quite nice. Growth estimate next year, we're looking at about 11%, 20%, 27% after that every single year. Fairly valuable right now, $213 per share is where they think the price should be. Now, looking at the Zscaler in terms of earnings expectations moving forward, you could see 68%, then 9%, 22%, and if we just focus on the first three, 23% basically in 2026. The revenue side of things, 32%, 22%, 22%. Again, if you focus on just the first three, which is absolutely not bad at all when you think about it. Now, rating side of things, you can see Quant saying is actually strong buy. Wall Street is saying is a buy. So Quant has been rating this a strong buy since God knows when, April. So since April, they've been saying it's $177 per share at the time. All the way right now to $200. Okay, so over 200. So they've been saying it's actually strong buy. Now seeking alpha analysts is saying 23 strong buys. Wow. And we have 9 hold buys and 9 holds. Okay, and overall about 14% upside from where we are. 200 and basically $30 per share is where they think the price should be. That's the 5 companies I wanted to share with you guys. Again, these are companies that are kind of speculative, if you like, especially these 3 here. Okay, Broadcom's been around quite some time. They have a very well diversified portfolio of products, so that they're in the software side of things, they are in the hardware side of it in terms of chips and so on, as well as of course the security side of things. CrowdStrike and the rest of them are main businesses, basically the cybersecurity side of things. I really like CrowdStrike. If it has come, if we see a market crash and this company comes down, I don't know, maybe more than 30%, I will definitely looking at this. But right now it's genuinely too expensive, because I did have the opportunity to buy a long time ago, but it's gone up so much, and I think it's just if AI crashes, cybersecurity will crash with it. Possibly we'll get an opportunity. I don't know if it's going to happen. If it happens, perfect. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to happily continue buying the rest of the companies that I have in my portfolio. This one is interesting, so I will be looking at that. Maybe I'll do it, dig deeper a little bit, and I'll share that with you guys. Now, moving on to Sharia compliance side of things, you can pause the video and have a look at that. The one I'm actually this is about now 96%. Okay, so that's interesting. These two are 96%, which is the borderline. So that 5% you can go either way. So it'll be interesting to see why, the reason that is. But other than that, they all seem absolutely fine. Nothing huge to worry about. If you have not joined us in the Patreon account, please do so. It definitely helps the channel. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.